Hello, nerds of the universe, and welcome to Nerd Talk. Last episode, we talked about the Bad Batch and what my predictions were for the series. Now, I understand that I didn't cover everything in the trailer, but I really liked it, and I hope you did too. But today, we're talking about the show that I am the most excited for, The Acolyte. And that might seem a little strange given the fact that we have really big Star Wars titles coming up, like the Kenobi series, the Book of Boba Fett, and the Ahsoka series, and so much more. But this show has a lot of potential, because it could very well include Papa Palp's favorite bedtime story, The Tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise. Oh, baby, where do I even begin with this show? So a quick summary of the show's description. The Acolyte is a female-centric show taking place near the end of the High Republic era, which started centuries before the Skywalker saga. It is a mystery thriller that focuses on the shadowy secrets and emergent dark side powers in the final days of the High Republic. So there's a lot to take in here. The first thing that caught my eye was mystery thriller. That means that this could be sort of a detective show, since there would be no Sith yet at this time. The Jedi would most likely be handling threats like criminal empires, terrorist organizations, and illegal smugglers. We could be dealing with a big crime boss who has been able to do his or her work right under the Jedi's noses, kind of like a Jabba the Hutt character. And it's up to our protagonist to track them down and put a stop to it. I also think that our female protagonist will be the Jedi Knight or Master who is in charge of tracking down these criminals. But nerd, you might be typing in the comments, the show is called The Acolyte, so how can it be focused around a Jedi? I'll tell you why. I believe that this crime boss is able to do all of its secretive work because he or she is working for the one and only Darth Plagueis, and that this show will switch between the two perspectives, that of the Jedi and that of the Sith. Yet again, this show is called The Acolyte, and an Acolyte, or Sith Acolyte in the case of Star Wars, is someone who has just started down the dark side path, and given the time period, if we do some math here, the High Republic era technically ended in the year 100 BBY. So I'm assuming that this show takes place maybe a year beforehand in the year 101 BBY, or hey, it could just be the beginning of 100 BBY. Darth Plagueis was born between the years 147 BBY and 120 BBY. By the way, when I say BBY, that means before the Battle of Yavin. This is the year that Luke Skywalker blew up the Death Star. That's kind of how time is told in the Star Wars universe. ABY stands for timestamps after the Battle of Yavin, and BBY stands for timestamps before the Battle of Yavin. So if the numbers get a little confusing, just remember that the higher numbers are farther back in history. So if Darth Plagueis was born between 147 BBY and 120 BBY, then that would make him around 20 to 47 years old at this time. And we know that he is not the Master, because his apprentice will be Darth Sidious, who isn't even born until the year 82 BBY. So it looks like we are looking at a very young Darth Plagueis who just started down his dark side journey. If you think back to the Clone Wars, this would be somebody like Ventress or Savage Opress, and is serving some sort of mystery master. Now, in Legends, Darth Plagueis' master was a Sith by the name of Darth Tenebros, who was a very powerful Sith Lord. But they might change that just because it's Legends, I don't know. But the biggest mystery here is that the Sith don't reveal themselves until Darth Maul attacks Qui-Gon Jinn on Tatooine in The Phantom Menace. So if our female Jedi protagonist is tracking down a crime boss that will inevitably lead to the Sith, how are they going to remain a secret? Well, I hate to break it to you nerds, but it looks like our Jedi friend is probably gonna die. And I know, in my last video I said that the entire Bad Batch was gonna die, and now for this video I'm saying that our main protagonist is gonna die, but for this, it really just makes sense. For one, they can't have her be a witness to them, existing, and two, imagine the insane lightsaber fight that would go down to finish the series off. Darth Plagueis' master orders him to kill the Jedi, they have this big lightsaber fight, maybe even the Jedi overpowers Darth Plagueis, and his master has to come in and save him. He stabs the Jedi dies, epilogue, the end. And of course, there's going to be a lot more to this series. This is just where I think it's going based off the very, very, very small amount of information we have. I'm very much looking forward to seeing a younger Yoda, maybe even a Yoda without his cane. We might even see him do some fighting, which would be really cool. And we also might see Jedi Master Yaddle, who would be alive at this time. Now, for those of you who don't know, Jedi Master Yaddle is the same species as Yoda. We see her briefly in The Phantom Menace as she sits on the council. And in canon and in legend, she is very, very powerful, but dies or disappears right before the attack of the clones, because we do see that her seat on the council has been taken by Jedi Master Shaak Ti. And we know that she will be a playable character in the new LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga game, which should be releasing later this year. Another thing, Count Dooku, you know, the Sith Lord, he was born in the year 102 BBY. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Wait a minute. Dooku is older than Darth Sidious? And to answer your question, yes, Dooku is older than Darth Sidious by 20 years. Which, when I found out, that was insane. But since this show should probably be taking place in the year 100 BBY, we could be looking at a 2-year-old Dooku. And I know that that's not a big deal. Okay, great, during this time Dooku's 2 years old. What's that tell us? Well, 2 or 3 years old is around the time where the Jedi starts abducting their children and bringing them into the Jedi Order to start to train them as younglings. So, even though I'm sure 2-year-old Dooku won't make a huge difference in the Acolyte, we might get a little Easter egg of him maybe training with other younglings. But with that, this episode of Nerd Talk has come to an end. Next time, however, we will be talking about The Mandalorian Season 3, because we got some pretty interesting news for that. And one more thing, this is a very new channel, and this is only my second video, so if you like what you see, please consider subscribing before you leave. It's really important to get those numbers up quickly. Thank you so much. Nerd out.